Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. Let's talk about some of those moves.
Like Kung
like
Fu
Jagger.
moves? Or... Oh, moves like Jagger, okay.
Get the night moves.
Oh, my God.
Seeger on me?
Oh, you do. I saw that. I think what you're doing there. Acting like a rock. So, yeah, the Giants, you think they'd be done signing players? You got, just a couple of days here before training camp begins. And Joe Shane just cannot help himself. It's like a kid in a candy store with a mediocre.
I'll buy that for $1.
He's like, I gotta have all the mediocre slot receivers. None can be available. I must have the ball. So yeah, we got some changes here. We got some roster moves, and honestly, they're good moves because they're low risk moves. It's not like anybody was signing for any decent amount of money at this point in the year. Guys that are veterans with some track record for success at that point. You can obviously question how much success they could still have at this point in their careers, given how late they were available still. But again, low risk. Low risk. That's what matters in the end. This is the time of the year you make low risk moves to improve what you think needs to be improved. And a lot of this boils down to health and things the Giants know that we don't know.
Yeah. I mean, also, look at them last year. They went clearance shopping quite a bit. It worked out for them for the most part. Yeah.
I would say
they got a lot of value out of the Five Below.
They were going like $2 below.
Yeah.
They're going to the Dollar Tree. $1.25 tree now.
Yeah. Wow.
So, first up, we've signed a guy who has been rumored to be signed with the Giants basically ever since Brian Dable came to town. It seems like forever. But yeah, Cole Beasley is officially a New York Football Giant.
Come on down, Cole Beasley. You're the next contestant on the New York Giants.
Oh yeah, I mean it's absolutely crazy. I mean, we have look at the slot receivers we already have on the roster. You got Sterling Shepard, who's played on the outside but plays best at the slot. You got Jalen Hyatt we drafted this year. You got Wan'Dale Robinson. You got Paris Campbell. You got Jamison Crowder. And they're like, oh, you know what we need? Another slot receiver. Wouldn't that be spectacular? Oh, my gosh. We got more slots than Russell here. It's insanity. So Cole Beasley is now 34 years old. So you can definitely say he's on the very tail end of his career. Last year, he split time between the Bucs and the Bills. Only had 6 catches for 35 yards in the regular season. In the playoffs, he did retire midseason. So he waited to sign with the Bucs until the season already began, played like 2 games with him, and then just said, I'm done. And I think a lot of it was he was upset over his playing time. Living down here in the Tampa Bay area, I get to hear a little bit more than necessarily some people here. Because of that, and I'll tell you honestly, I think that's a lot of what it was. He expected to get more playing time than he was getting, got frustrated, and walked away. Cole Beasley is definitely an interesting personality, to say the least.
Yes.
He's always kind of been very outspoken, whether you agree with him or don't agree with him. He's a very outspoken person. But yeah, it's just like it's another body there for that wide receiver room. In the playoffs last year, though, this is the interesting part. In the playoffs, 2 games, 5 catches, 58 yards, 1 touchdown. All 5 catches he had were for first downs or touchdowns. So,
nice
yeah. So I don't think necessarily Cole Beasley was done. Cole Beasley wasn't necessarily out. He was a guy who just basically wasn't utilized a lot last year. The prior 3 seasons, all with the Bills, obviously with Brian Dable at that point, he averaged 77 catches, 813 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Do I think he's that guy still? No.
No.
But do I think he's a guy that if he's set up right in the system, he could have maybe a 500-yard season? Yes.
I was going to say, he'd be lucky to get 6.
Yeah, I don't think that's impossible at all. I don't think that's insanity to say that. But I
Depends
don't think
on
we should
injuries.
900 yards or anything crazy.
Yeah. Listen, if we get 4 touchdowns out of him and 500 yards, we got him at discount. He looks like Week Martinell's unofficial
discount double check.
Yeah.
And what did I say a minute ago? People make these adjustments because of things we don't know. It makes you wonder what's going on with Shepard, what's going on with Wandell.
Well, that's what I think they're preparing for. Like Wandell towards ACL against the Lions, we all know that happened.
Mm-hmm.
He might be missing some games at the beginning of the year. He's also young enough where he might be coming back, but is he going to be 100%? We don't know.
Yeah.
Shep hasn't been healthy for a full season since I can't tell you when.
Yeah,
so
it's all about being prepared.
It could just be an insurance.
Yep. You have to be prepared for the challenge of a lifetime. You have to be prepared for sensational news. A shiny new era is tiptoeing nearer. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata. But yeah, I mean, Cole Beasley is one of those guys that's quietly had a pretty decent career overall. If you think about it, 5,744 yards he's had in his career. So if he has even any semblance of a year and ends up getting 6,000 yards for his career, there's a lot of guys who never get close to that kind of number, guys.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys.
He's not your number 1. He's probably not your number 2, but he's a damn good number 3.
And that's exactly correct. That's what he is. He's a great third option for most of his career. I question whether he's still that even at this point, just because of the age. He's 34. We didn't see him do much last year overall, but he's still a guy that has a history with Dable. Dable's going to know how to use him immediately. He's going to have some semblance of knowledge on the offense because of working with Dable in the past at Buffalo, and it just can't hurt. It's not like you're signing this guy to big money and you're taking risks at that point. So let's see. We got a couple comments here. Ben Cornett, what's up, Ben? Says, who's been on more teams the last 12 months? Baker Mayfield or Cole Beasley? They're both tied with 3, I believe.
I was about to say, I think they're both tied with 3, actually. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. Yep, 3. Yeah. Carolina, Rams, now
Carolina, Rams, and now the Bucks. Yep, and then you had the Bucks, the Bills, and now the Giants for Cole Beasley. So, Deb says, I'm thinking Barkley is going to sit out the season. We're going to get into that in a second with their second signing here, what we think that means there. Bookend Tackles, what's up? Says the all-slot package. Can you imagine that? All the slot receivers at once on there. Next thing you know, Barkley comes out for a wheel route.
Listen, they're going to take all those slots and go to AC.
Oh, my. Beef says, people are laughing about all the wide receivers are going to toss the ball all over the field this year. Just watch and see. Listen, I'm all for it. I would love it if they do one of those offenses where it's just like you got a whole bunch of 500-600 yard receivers. You have no clue who's going to get the ball, because that's how you can build a successful offense without a number 1.
Yeah.
And you have no clue where the ball's going to after each play. You have no clue what's going on. And that's that. You keep them on their toes and you make it like, something that they have no clue what's going to come.
Yeah, especially if you run a fast offense, like really fast, and then slow it down, keeps the defense confused.
So fast. Stinky fast. So fast. All righty. Next up, we have a running back we signed. So I said we get to a minute about Barkley here because obviously people are going to question the implications as far as that. James Robinson, former Jaguar, spent the last half of the year last year with the Jets. So people who are New York fans in general are aware of who he is and what he does there. His rookie year with the Jaguars as an undrafted free agent, mind you. 14 games, 240 carries, 1,070 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns, 49 receptions, 344 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns.
Undrafted.
Not too shabby. That's a win. That's a win. His second year, 14 games again, 164 rushes, 767 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns. So similar yardage per carry, just less carries. 31 receiving receptions, 222 yards there. So still had just shy of a 1,000-yard season at that point. Just wasn't used as much as he was his rookie year. Now, then he tears his Achilles. And that's at the very tail end of the year there. But, yeah, Giant fans love hearing that, don't they? The Achilles is our Achilles heel.
That's the ACL's our Achilles heel.
Yeah, so last year, he had split between the Jets and the Jags coming back from their Achilles injury. 110 rushes, 425 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, 11 receptions, 51 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. His first 3 games last season, he had 230 yards rushing. Doesn't take a genius to figure out the math that the rest of the other games he was in wasn't very good.
Well, you also got to remember, one, coming off the ACL, but you're talking about first. The second is E2N or Tin Can Mania. The rookie over there. The rookie that came out of there for the Jags.
Well, technically second year. Technically second year.
Sorry, you're right. Technically second year, but he exploded on the field. So
he exploded because he was put on the field.
Yeah, well, I mean,
honestly, on paper, that's a perfect 1-2 combo because James Robinson is more your typical between the tackles, and Travis Etienne is your typical speed running back. On paper, that's a perfect 1-2.
Yeah, I agree.
In fact, Robinson himself, when he got traded, even said, "What the hell? I thought this was going to be a great 1-2."
Jags saw it differently, I guess.
They do, and you got to wonder, is part of it the fact that he started off so hot and then trailed off really quickly here? So he was signed earlier this offseason already by the New England Patriots, and it didn't go well. So got a couple of quotes here from some of the guys around the league on that. Jeff Howe of The Athletic said he couldn't stay on the field during the Patriots offseason workouts. So injury bug was definitely there. Evan Lazar of the Patriots team website wrote that his lack of explosiveness was noticeable. These are not things I like hearing from guys we just signed.
Once again, blue light special.
Yeah. Now, besides the big injury, he also suffered an ankle injury in 2020 and missed 2 games. Missed 1 game in 21 with a bruised heel. So he's had a couple of minor injuries along with the big one there. Right before, if you remember when the Giants played the Jaguars, that was the game before he got traded. And he didn't go in the game at all. And there was a lot of beat writers on both sides going, "Where's James Robinson?" Because up to that point, it was, he was part of that team, part of the offensive game plan. And Coach Doug Peterson said he had lower body issues. Robinson said he had knee soreness. So you got to wonder what's up with him. It's a low-risk move. Again, this guy, you don't sign guys like this late in the season and then give them tons of money. So I'm not worried about cap implications. But I don't want Giants fans sitting there going, "Oh, we just signed a guy who's a 1,000-yard rusher." That's not what we did.
Yeah.
We signed a guy low that used to be good.
Correct. This doesn't say this is Barkley's replacement. This says, can he be better than Matt Breida?
Yeah. And
That's what
honestly, it's part of it could also just be the fact that they're thinking, okay, can we go get Matt Breida and James Robinson and have that be a duo in case, Barkley does sit out for a little bit. Well, we just say in the first 3 games, he had 230 yards last year. Then he had the knee soreness issues. Then he had the issues overall of staying healthy. If this is a similar trend, maybe he goes ahead and gets, a good start to the season if Barkley does sit out a game or two. And then by the time he's done, because of knee soreness or whatever the case may be, now Barkley's ready to go again. Because Barkley's not sitting out the year. I still don't think he's going to miss a game. Let me be very clear. I still don't think he's going to miss a game. But you can't blame the Giants for wanting insurance just in case. They have to cover their tuchus, to put it nicely.
Yeah. They took us.
Hey. It's so funny. People down here ask me all the time if I'm Jewish because every so often I'll say like a word that like up there is normal to say. But down here in Florida, it's like you don't say things like tuchus or mensch or, mazel tov or, things that in Jersey, it's not unheard of to say that. It's kind of part of the culture and part of our, vernacular. But it's so funny how.
Especially what part of Jersey you're in.
Exactly. Or Maven, that's another one we like to use up there as well. But yeah, it's funny how. What?
Which one? What was the last one?
Maven.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like these are things that like you don't hear down here. It's funny. People, I say that stuff. People like, what? Are you Jewish? No. We just say that way in Jersey. We just say that we're in. Actually, I am 2% Ashkenazi when I did the 23andMe, actually. So I guess I am a little bit. I'm such a mutt. It's not even funny. It's spectacular. I can claim every nationality, basically. I'm a Heinz 57. But yeah, like I said, I think it's a good low risk move for the Giants. I think it can't hurt, and it gives you a little better coverage. You think about it now. You go into it going into camp, going James Robinson, Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell, Eric Gray. You got a bunch of guys on there that you can do a running back by committee at that point.
Yeah,
and just see what you got. Oh, yeah. And can't forget Corbin. I forgot Corbin. He spent all last year in the practice squad. We didn't really see him. So, but like I said, so we got 5 running backs for the camp. That's good. And if hypothetically Barkley comes in, Corbin's probably just gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, good to have. Not a bad option at all. Nothing bad to have of it. I just don't want guys getting excited because they look at what he did his first 2 years and go, "Oh, this is a good get." This is a guy that's probably not going to, stay healthy unless he changes his ways. But considering he's been on 4 teams, here you go. Talk about Cole Beasley being on a bunch of teams and Baker Mayfield being on a bunch of teams. We got him beat. Ben.
Yeah,
this is 4 teams. 4 teams than the last 12 months. So yeah,
impressive.
That's not good.
People don't keep letting
you go. People don't keep going. You're too good for us to keep. Let's let you go and spread your wings elsewhere.
We saved too much. We're just going to get rid of you.
Exactly. So let's see. Connor's on there. What's up, Connor? He says, hate having ex-cow pukes on the team. Plus his stats suck lately. Why? It's 1 year of suckiness. Honestly, I'm not worried about that part of it. That's not a big deal. He had 1 bad season when he spent part of the year on 2 different teams. That's it. If anything, he might be a little refreshed. He basically took the year half off.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And he says maybe Robinson gets bionics put in there. We can rebuild him. We do have the technology, Connor, but I don't think that's allowed in the NFL.
Well, I mean, he's only a $6 million man. I'm sure that's fine. If he's a $6 billion man, that's a question.
Well, he's a running back, so he's the 500,000 man.
Yeah.
We do have one more signing as well, guys. One more signing. This one just came out today. Brandin Bryant, the defensive tackle, has been signed by the New York Giants. He's a guy that I think I wouldn't even try to build this up to anything big. He's a camp body. we try to cut through the BS, guys, and say what it is. He's a camp body.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just
So
they're allowed to have more, guys during the, training camps, more guys during leading up to until they have to have that 52-man roster. So,
yep.
Good people in
and
there.
this is another ex-Bill, so he's got the relationship with Dable. He's got the relationship with Shane. And again, we always say this when this whole episode. What does that mean? It probably means is Robinson's, going to be injured a little longer than people were expecting. We haven't really seen him much in camp. I'm sure he'll be fine by the season starts because he'll be put on some kind of pup or something like that by now. But need a camp body. There's a guy floating around there they know. They know him. They know if he's a good guy or not. They know if it's somebody they want around this team. So,
his personality, his mix of players.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But he's played just 11 games in 4 years. He's going to be 30 this year. His last 3 years were with the Bills. He appeared in 6 games with the Bills. So I would say this is probably not the guy to get excited about either. We're kind of tempering expectations with Cole Beasley and James Robinson. I'm saying have absolutely no expectations with Bryant. Not trying to be mean about it. Jersey. Yeah, he's a much, much better player than any of us are. But he's that borderline guy who's going to end up probably in the XFL or USFL, whatever, next year. I mean, that's what he is. So, unless some kind of secret sauce gets all of a sudden found that makes him good, it's not often people all of a sudden at the age of 30 become good.
Is it the one that Bugs Bunny had in Space Jam?
No, it was the spinach actually that Popeye had.
So yeah, finish because I played in the XFL. Arena football.
They don't have arena football anymore. I guess they have indoor football with Antonio Brown killing one of the teams now. So Giants did go ahead and make a couple of cuts in the process. Giants have waived Mekhi Polk, and they've also gone ahead and waived tight end Dre Miller. So not that either one of those guys were thought of as guys that probably would make the roster, but
no.
I think it's extra safe to say now they won't stay on the roster. That's for sure.
Well, since they got shot, but who knows? Sometimes teams drop a guy and pick him right back up.
It's possible. It's all possible. I mean, you take the one over the one you don't know when you're talking about. And again, I hate to be disrespectful about it, but scrubs. These are guys that are borderline roster guys. It's not like that guy is the guy that you're expecting anything out of. You just want him not to embarrass you and be a good teammate.
He's got to thing out of his best friend's car.
Oh, God.
Trying to holler at Drew.
I don't want no scrub. The scrub is the guy who can't get no love from me.
Or from the Giants at that point.
Oh, we've had plenty of scrubs over the years. Don't you worry. We did start Dave Brown for a number of years. All right, we got a couple more comments, and then we'll get to the last subtopic here of this episode. Connor says they had 2022 stats listed twice. My mistake. Yeah, that's because they were just split between the two teams. Again, 22 is not good for Cole Beasley, but again, prior to that, they were pretty good. It was a steep drop off one year when he basically played a very little bit for two different teams. So again, not expecting the world out of him, but I expect he's going to be a serviceable wide receiver if we end up needing him. And the guy is clutch. You hate him all you want as being an ex-Cowboy. The guy has been clutch his whole career. So clutch is something you can't teach. You either are or you aren't.
Third shift clutch.
We got King Jers. What's up, man? It says, so how many tight ends do you think the Giants are going to keep? Honestly, it depends on what they plan to do with this offense overall and how many double tight end sets they plan on doing and that kind of stuff. I mean, you got to think, obviously, Waller's going to make the team. You got to think Bellinger is going to make the team. And then you got to think that, Lawrence Cager is probably also going to make this team. The Giants do seem to like him. He definitely did embarrass himself last year. And keep in mind, he's also still in transition from the wide receiver position. It was just not his natural position. He bulked up just last year to switch over to tight end. So for a guy still learning the roster, and I'm sorry, the position and not embarrassing himself, that's a pretty good move. Yeah. So
I think
you got Chris Myrick as well, who's had some experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, Chris Myrick, but I doubt they're going to keep 4. But also, once again, it depends on how they set this offense up. Because look at all the slots we do. So we're going to do a quick offense with everyone's slot. Like, if that's the case, maybe keep 4, because then you have 2 guys that are good, really good blockers, and 2 guys that are good receivers.
Well, here's part of the equation with that as well, is that if you do those top 3 I was saying, Waller, Bellinger, and Cager, 2 out of those 3 are not good blockers.
That's what I'm saying.
So do you keep a 4th one
that's what my
for the blocking ability?
But then it's also a flag of what you're doing.
Yeah, Chris Myrick is good. He also works as a good blocker, even a lead blocker. He's played fullback occasionally when need be. So yeah, we'll have to see overall, what they do there. But 3 or 4 max. I don't expect them to go tight end crazy. That's for sure. Let's see. Connor says it's good to have extra fat guys. We get winded easily. LOL. Speak for yourself. I don't get winded easily. I get winded very easily. Let's see. King Jur says tight Sweetie. Sweeney, I don't expect Sweeney to go ahead and make this roster at all. If he roster see as a extra blocker, a guy who just does that and that's it. And if he does make the roster, is probably a practice squad guy. Tommy Sweeney has had the chance to succeed before with the Bills under Dable and hasn't done it. Again, I think he's the guy they brought in because they knew him. They knew he was of his character. They knew he was a guy who's not going to embarrass himself on the field. But I don't think there's anybody who has any really expectation for this kid at this point. It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
If he was going to do something, he would have at least shown a glimpse of it by now. And he hasn't.
Yeah.
So I would say, practice squad maybe for Myrick or Sweeney as an extra guy like that, with a small chance they do a 4th one if they want a second blocking tight end, not have 2 out of the 3 be pure receivers, basically.
Yeah. We also don't know what KJ does this offseason, how big he is.
Oh, yeah. And how better a blocker he is. He's still, like I said, he's still learning it. Connor says, now I'm hungry. Hey, Roberto, make me some eggs and bacon and toast me up a bagel. First off, Connor, in every decent New Jersey home, we don't do bagels and eggs and bacon. We do bagels with eggs and pork roll and cheese, damn it. Pork roll. And no, it's not Taylor ham. It's pork roll.
Sadly, once you get up to the East Rutherford area, that's what they call it, Taylor ham. I
know they do. That's why I'm correcting them before they even say it.
I was up at a friend's wedding. I got married at a golf course at where was it? By Sparta. And then before I go in, when I'm getting into the town, right? Getting ready to go do the groomsmen thing. I'm like, hey, can I get a pork roll, egg and cheese? And I went at the restaurant. It's like, the hell's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Can I get a Taylor ham that should be called pork roll, egg and cheese?
I'm telling you, it's pork roll. It says it right in the goddamn label. Taylor ham is the brand. That's like asking for a Kleenex.
Or a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's a piece of strip.
It's a bandage or a tissue, goddammit.
Yeah.
So, all right, my dad's on here. Dad says they will keep 1 extra receiving tight end and stash a blocking tight end in the practice squad. That's possible. But again, depending on how this roster goes, I don't think it's out of the question for us to keep a 4th guy and a second blocking tight end.
Also, I do think Barkley's going to play, but just in case, you probably want an extra blocking tight end to help out the.
It's a good point.
Awesome running back.
No, that's a very good point. I mean, if Barkley doesn't play, do you then go ahead and get the extra blocking tight end to try to help out the running game? Because it's going to need some help potentially. It's a good point.
Yeah.
Let's see here. King Jer says, pork roll, my guys. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Pork roll. Ain't no Taylor ham. Connor says, I'm in the mood for bacon, Drew. I ate too much pork roll yesterday. See, here's your first problem with that sentence, Connor. There is no such thing as too much pork roll.
So I could do some bacon on the side of the pork roll.
Ooh, bacon and pork roll.
Watch your cholesterol go right through the roof.
Oh, yes. My cholesterol's right through the roof. This is my blood pressure. It's okay. This is what my family does, but we live forever, so it's okay.
You'll be right.
Connor says, Drew, I am your father. No, you're not. You are not my father, Connor.
His father's also in the comments as well.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why he was saying that, because he was just on the comments. I've seen my birth certificate, Connor. Also, one person shares my last name in the chat here, and one person does not. So therefore,
who's he talking? What does he do?
It is not the Duma. All right, we do got one more bit of news here before we sign off, and it's mostly us rejoicing in karma, and that's what it is. And I hate to be the fan. I hate to be the fan that still talks about a guy when he's left the Giants, and especially like that. But yeah, exactly. How can you not at this point? You have a guy who's talked so much trash about the New York Giants and their fans overall. So a direct shot at us. Kadarius freaking Toney, who got injured at practice already. Oops, am I smiling?
What was the injury again?
It was confirmed to be a knee injury of some kind. They haven't said if it's a hamstring or not.
I think they're embarrassed to say if the hamstring.
My God. Imagine. It'd be freaking-tacular if it was a hamstring issue. So there's been some mixed reports on what's going on. So head coach Andy Reid said it was a tweak, which was his way of trying to say it's minor. Nothing crazy. It happened apparently while he was returning a punt during the practice before even all the teammates had arrived and were ready to start the actual practice itself. Now, Toney did leave the practice field, though, and that's usually reserved for more serious injuries, according to ESPN's Adam Treicher, who's been covering the Chiefs since 1993, including the last 10 years with ESPN. So I think he knows some things there. Yeah. I think he has insight to the Chiefs after spending 30 years covering them overall. Call me crazy. So it's interesting for him to comment point blank and say, like, hey, no, he left the field. That's a sign of something big. So,
Big Nelson over here.
Hopefully it's not his ACL. Wouldn't that be a shame? I hate wishing ill upon somebody. Yeah, but I do wish ill on him. I really do. Because he's just such a jerk. Like, seriously. Like, it takes a lot for me to have that kind of dislike for someone. I don't want to say hate because I don't know him personally, but for me to wish that kind of stuff is that's very rare for me. That's very, very rare for me. This guy is a jerk, though. He's an immature schmuck. See, another Yiddish word there. I'm telling you, this is why people think this in Florida sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's just it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Oh no.
So we'll have to see what happens already. Toney was already on social media talking about how he has faith. He posted a picture of the training staff as they were taking care of Patrick Mahomes, saying all the confidence in the world in them. But again, no one's really said what the injury is. So we'll have to see what the injury is.
Triple bypass the hamstring injury.
Yes. He's strained all his hamstrings at once.
Yeah.
No one thought it was possible, but yeah, it was. Yeah, it's like I said, it's karma coming to life. Let's see, got a couple more comments. Connor says, "Sign off. It's early." It's it's Connor's used to the hour and a half episodes and all at that point. So, listen, training camp's coming up on Wednesday, so they'll start being longer again soon potentially. Connor says he has a cracked nail. LOL. Listen, Tony probably would. I can picture him be the guy that like jams his finger when he goes ahead to catch the punt and is out for the next month. Deb says ass wipe, which I'm assuming is referring to Tony, not to us. Deb's awesome. I'm sure that's what she was saying. Let's see. My dad says Tony rode into the playoffs on the coattails of so many good players and then tried to act like he was something special. I mean, I want to give him some credit as much as I dislike Tony, and I've obviously made that pretty clear and obvious. He did help them in that Super Bowl. You could easily make
in that Super Bowl, not the playoffs.
But that's part of the playoffs. That's the biggest game of the playoffs. If he doesn't get that touchdown, if he doesn't make that punt return, the Chiefs might not win.
Yeah, so but I don't want what your dad was saying. He rode into the playoffs.
I know. I'm just saying. But when you say try to act like he was someone special, he did do some special things for the Super Bowl at least.
Yes, no, he does have a lot of players the NFL will never have. It's a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Brandin,
the guy has listen.
Same with the third string kicker of the team, so we'll still get it.
The guy has so much talent, it's not even funny. And that's I think what frustrates Giant fans so much is we saw how much potential he had, and then to see him doing the biggest stage and he going, what the hell? Where was this all year long?
It was the hospital.
But again, he's a jerk. He's selfish. He doesn't love football. I think it's pretty obvious. He doesn't love football. If he had his way, he'd be a rapper instead. He's just not 100%. A good rapper. Not that much rap I do like. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. I've been fighting that sneeze for a while there. This sneeze won. This sneeze won. Sneeze won. Drew 0. Let's see here. Connor says, sad thing is to Tony.
I
think he means Tony.
OBJ.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an N instead of a space. And OBJ, Divas. But they got over on Giants by winning Super Bowl stuff. Listen, OBJ did not get over on the Giants. We can't have that.
His best years are with us. Yeah.
His best years, like all his good years were with us. He wasn't good with the Rams.
Yes,
he wasn't good with the Browns. And now he's got to go to the Ravens. And he's going to play with the quarterback that's never had a single wide receiver succeed under him. That's not to say he can't. But I don't want to act like that's a perfect scenario for OBJ. He's got to do what people like Hollywood Brown and Anquan Bolden, these kind of guys, haven't been able to do basically in the last 10, 15 years in Baltimore. And that's be a top-level wide receiver on the Ravens. It hasn't been done forever. You could even make the case that probably the only guy to go there and really be successful at the wide receiver position was probably Steve Smith. And it's not like Steve Smith went off and went crazy with the Ravens here. I have to look up to see what his numbers are. But I remember him, being at least successful with the Ravens and having still some good years there. Now I'm curious. I got to look it up here. Let's see.
That's bothering
me. So his first year there, he had just over 1,000 yards. Then only had 600 yards and 800 yards. So, yeah, I mean, considering how old he was at that point, not to be rude about it, but, I mean, he's my age, like 44 now. So, I mean, not that much different than I am. But he was 35 when he went to the Baltimore Ravens. 35 to 37, and you got 2,500 yards in 3 seasons. I think most guys would take that.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty dang good. But everybody else has failed there. Everybody else. So, like I said, he's not exactly walking into a great scenario. He's coming off another ACL. Giants won that trade. We got Dexter Lawrence. That alone was the win.
Hell yeah.
If you're telling me right now that you went to offer the Ravens Dexter Lawrence for OBJ, the Ravens would
Under-
quickly send it over the paperwork right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. My dad says playing one game is not special. Like you said, he's got his moments. He's still a special talent. He's such a head case. He can't get it together and can't do the right thing when it boils down to it, when it matters. So, alrighty, guys.
When he's healthy.
Exactly. When he's healthy, which is pretty much never. So, Wednesday, guys. For those of you who are unaware of what Wednesday is a momentous occasion for the 2023 season.
Wednesday
morning.
Monster Trucker Mania. I mean, no, Monster
Training camp
Yeah.
opens. So, yeah, we'll be here on Wednesday to give you guys the breakdown of what we're expecting and hoping to see throughout training camp. Give you guys in a report we have on the first training camp as well. Same as the mini camp. We're probably not going to do an episode every single training camp and go, oh, here's what happened the first day. Here's what happened the second day. Because, again, we don't hear a lot because the training camps that are open to the public are so choreographed and orchestrated. It's not even funny. It's great for the fans. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the training camp. But the real secret sauce is going to be behind closed doors.
Yeah, it's awesome for fans too. Well, just not of this, but WrestleMania choreographed. Great show.
WrestleMania.
Wow. All choreographed.
As we say that Monday Night Raw is live like 20 minutes from my house right now. I think it's in Tampa tonight.
I don't know. I haven't watched wrestling in 20 years.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, we'll have to see, what happens overall. But I don't think that anything crazy is going to happen game in, game out. And I don't want to be that guy who, hey, Rob, let's have an episode about what happened today at training camp. They threw the ball. Someone caught it. Someone caught that ball. Someone didn't catch this ball. We'll give you guys the rundown of the training camp stuff. Don't get me wrong. What was that?
It said, wow, you ran the route perfectly that you were supposed to do.
Nope.
Wow, Darren Waller is fantastic.
I run every route. Yeah. Oh, God, they're going to kiss Darren Waller's butt so much this training camp. It's not even funny. And again, I like Darren Waller. I'm excited for Darren Waller. Stop shoving him down our throats.
Listen, I'm a fan of it here.
We have a good weapon that might be a number one receiver. Let's keep him healthy. That's all I care about right now.
Yeah. He's such a great guy.
Keep him healthy. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Make sure he takes his vitamins, extra protein shakes, whatever he's got to do. Offer him steak dinners. Make sure his bones are nice and healthy.
All righty, guys. So we'll see you guys Wednesday as we get into our first report on what's going on with the training camp there. Hope you guys enjoyed the show there. If you haven't already, especially if you're watching live, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell if you're on YouTube. That's the best way to find out what's going on when the new episodes come out. And of course, we always come out Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We may start having to change that in a couple weeks, obviously. Keep in mind as the preseason gets going, because we'll do our usual preseason matchups, preseason post-game, all that kind of fun stuff to give you guys the rundown and everything going on. So we'll also, of course, do that kind of stuff for the regular season as well. So schedules will be changing here soon. But for right now, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rob's favorite,
Drew's LinkedIn.
Oh, yeah. My LinkedIn profile. Oh, yes. LinkedIn. We finally found a use for LinkedIn. I don't think this was the intended use, but whatever. We're going for it. I got like 10,000 people on my LinkedIn, so we're going for it. Like I said, they're all overseas people, too, so it's funny because probably none of them actually watch football. But, they now know who the two giant goofballs are. And, of course, guys, we're also available on every single podcast platform, pretty much known to man. We're on, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio. If we're not on the podcast platform you're on the wrong one. That's all there is to. And you can rectify that by just downloading one of the ones that we gave you just then, or going to our website, twogiantgoofballs.buzzsprout.com. And of course, as always, guys, we do also offer the options for one-time sponsorship there, or subscriptions to that point for the show as well. As I'm trying to find it here, my mouse here, the button to hit for that. So it's buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Again, buymeacoffee.com/2 And again, guys, we'll go ahead and see you guys. Actually, we got a couple more comments here before we go. I always like to read every comment. Connor says, "Good night, fellas. All that pork roll wants out just in time since you're signing off." I thought you said you had pork roll yesterday. How long has this pork been sitting in you for? Like, that's not healthy. That's not supposed to be in there that long. You should get that checked out by a doctor, probably. Just say.
Wink.
Oh my gosh. And then let's see here. We got one more comment as well. Mike Marcello says, "I want to smell Rob after he jogs." Well, that's interesting.
I don't think it smells like it. Depends where you smell.
I'm hoping you know who this Mike is.
Vinegar.
I'm hoping you know who this Mike character is. If this is some rando wanting to smell you after you're jogging, Rob, that'd be kind of creepy. It's like, hi, I want to smell you after you jog.
Who doesn't want to?
Mike also says, "You guys want to play leapfrog wearing nothing but swim goggles and tube socks up the head?" Oh my gosh. Now I know you definitely know this Mike. He knows your favorite game.
Leapfrog.
All righty, guys. We'll see you guys Wednesday night here for the start of training camp and going over what to expect there throughout the training camp process there. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As always, Giant fans, Go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?